Hi everyone, this week we are still on the texture train. We're still talking about texture and how things feel. This week gets a little bit tricky though, because this week we're going to be drawing texture. So if you're doing a drawing that looks like texture, do you think it's going to feel like anything? What's it going to feel like? If I've got a drawing of texture on a piece of paper, what's it going to feel like? It's going to feel like paper. The tricky thing with texture when we draw it is that it doesn't actually feel like anything aside from the paper you've drawn it on. So we need to try and do drawings of texture that look like they feel something, even though they don't. So today we're going to be focusing on drawing 4 different types of textures, and we're going to draw some little bits and pieces that have that texture. So if I was going to draw something that was rocky in texture, what could I draw? How about a rock? Or what about concrete? That would be a good one for rocky as well, because it often has lots of little rocks on it. If I was going to try and draw something that had a rough texture, what's something that I could draw? I'm sure you could think of something. I'm going to give you 4 examples in a moment for you to have a look at and have your own go at drawing. Let's see how we go. All right, let's do it. Okie dokie, so I have my piece of paper today and I have my grey lead pencil, and I'm going to start by just folding my piece of paper into quarters. So I'm going to do one fold that goes this way, the short side, and I'm going to do one fold that goes this way, the long way, and then this should make for me 4 sections to draw in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to draw a line down the middle and the other way. Doesn't have to be perfect. And today we're going to have a go at drawing 4 things with texture. So I'm going to start by labeling my sections, and I want your sections to say the same thing as mine. So I might do it in black so that it's a bit easier for you to read on my camera. Okay, so the first one that we're going to have a go at is scaly. So you're going to have to think of something that is scaly that we can draw. What has a scaly texture? The second one we're going to do is fluffy. What can we draw that has a fluffy texture? Then the next one we're going to do is we're going to do wooden. So what's something that might have a wooden texture or be woody? There's lots of things. And the last one we're going to do is spiky. So I'm just going to hold this here like this, and you might want to pause the video so that you can write down all the words. And once you've done that, unpause me and we're going to keep drawing, okay? Okay, hopefully you've got all 4 of your little titles written down. Now I wrote my titles in Texture just so that it was easier for you to see on the screen, but you should do it in grey lead. Now, I'm going to think of something that has a scaly texture, and that's what I'm going to draw. And I'm going to make sure that the texture on it is really obvious. So I could draw a snake. A snake is scaly. Or I could draw a fish. There's lots of different things I can think of that are scaly, but I'm going to do a fish. That's going to be my scaly thing. You can draw whatever you want that you can think of that's scaly, but I'm going with a fish, and I'm going to add some color to it as well. So here's my little fishy. Now at the moment my little fishy doesn't have any texture, so I'm going to have to add some texture to it, and my texture is going to be scaly. So what does scaly look like? Well, scaly is just little scales. So those little, like almost like tiles they look like on fish and snakes and lizards and things like that, that is scales, and that makes them feel scaly. So I'm going to add some little scales to my fishy so that it has a nice, beautiful, scaly texture. So remember, the thing with this is that can I feel scaly on this? No, I'm just trying to make my little fish look like it's scaly. So that's sometimes the hard thing with art, is that even though something looks like it's got texture, like my little fish, when I feel it, it just feels like the paper underneath. I can't actually feel scaly. So we have to use our drawing to trick whoever's looking at our artwork into thinking it has texture. Now I can think of lots and lots of things that have got fluffy texture. Blankets and jumpers and bunnies and kittens, lots and lots of different things. So I think for my little fluffy one, I'm going to do, I think I've picked an animal theme here a little bit. I'm going to do a bunny. And I'm going to try and make my bunny look fluffy again. So remember, you can do whatever you want that's fluffy. This kind of is gonna feel like it looks like a sheep almost, but with a bunny head, because I wanted it to look fluffy. Maybe a sheep would have been a better idea, Miss Emily. This is my cute little fluffy bunny, and I'm going to add some color to that as well, trying to make it look fluffy. Even though we can't feel the texture, I want it to look like it's got texture. Wooden. Now I can think of a few things that are wooden: trees, plants, even fences and houses. So I think for mine, I'm going to go away from my animal theme, and I'm going to draw a wooden fence. You could draw a tree or anything else that you can think of that might have a wooden texture. And remember, I want it to look like it has texture, even though when I feel it, it doesn't feel like anything. I want it to look like it's got texture. So I'm drawing my little fence. It doesn't really look like it's got any texture yet. But I'm going to add in some details, which is something you guys are super, super good at. And that's going to help make it look wooden. So I'm going to add in some lines like what a tree would have, because that's what a wooden fence is. It's chopped up bits of tree. And then when I color it in, that's obviously going to help as well. My wooden fence. Lots of lines, lots of texture on it. And then lucky last, something that is spiky. I'm going to let you think of something that's spiky, and I'm going to draw my own. I'm going to color these, and when I come back, I'll show you. Okay, so I colored in all my different texture drawings. So I've got my beautiful scaly fish, my white fluffy bunny, my wooden fence, and for my spiky one, I did a spiky little echidna. Now, I can't wait to see what ideas you can come up with. You don't have to do the same drawings as me. You can pick something else for your 4 different textures. And I can't wait to see how you manage to draw them. Have fun. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.